Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes, good energy, good people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Also, if you want to support my brand, it's inspired by dreams.shop. You can go get your drip on, dress outside of the box. Okay, what's going on, y'all? Let's start it off today. Just to when I think of leadership, I think of leaders. I always attach Martin Luther King Jr. to that leadership, that whole status. And today is that day. Hold on, let me see. Today is that day where we celebrate him, as well as keep in mind all the things that he fought for and all the things that still is meaningful to us today. So yeah, man. I don't know if I should say shouts out to Martin Luther King Jr. and to his family. Much love, and you know, some of us are still keeping this fight going on. You know, that fight of unity and that fight of peacefulness. So yeah, man, today's that day. So we got a lot to talk about today, man. That I wanted to bring to you guys. There's a lot been going on over the weekend. A lot been just going on. It's a lot of things happening in hip hop as well as our communities that we really got to discuss. So I wanted to bring that to you guys today. Before anything, how are you guys doing? Do you guys need a hug? Missed you guys. How you guys doing, man? How are you guys doing today, man? Because I know I'm feeling good. My energy's up. Got a little sniffles, but that just come with it. That come with the game, you know. The weather, snowing out here in the NYC. All my peoples out here around the world. We just we on our mission, man. We on our mission. So how are we gonna do this today? I want to start it off with let's you know what? Let's start it off with let's start it off with Diddy. Now the latest thing, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I've been watching that I've been stuck watching that whole Diddy documentary over and over again. I think I believe it was like once a day since it dropped. And the more I keep watching it, the more I find things that's just it's kind of crazy and things that's just an eye opener to who this man really was. Now, when it comes down to the Diddy, I've seen, you know, we heard about Sara just explaining it, you know, her uncomfortableness as far as Diddy. But the latest one that really struck a chord here was that Ashley, I don't want to pronounce her name. Her name is Ashley, I believe it's Ashley Parham. And she was, you know, she was giving the story about how Diddy, you know, just his character and how he was she explained how, you know, they did the gang art to her and just took it so normal when she came out and, you know, they drugged her the whole nine. I don't think Diddy's coming out of prison, you guys. I don't think he's going to be able to make it out of this one alive. I don't know. I'm not sure. But with all these allegations, they all add up and they all have like some kind of they all have some kind of similarities to each of some of these cases. Some of them don't really have too much detail to them, but some of these things, you know, it sounds like it's, and you know, another person I feel like they're going to she's probably going to get arrested or probably going to be in some big trouble is Diddy's mom. Now, when it comes to Diddy's mom, because Ashley's also claiming that, you know, after it was all over and their cover up was, you know, Diddy's mom calling that person and just letting them know that they'll pay them or just to keep their mouth shut. So she was like kind of like an accomplice. This is crazy. This is just crazy. It's like I'm looking at this whole situation and I'm just thinking to myself, so there's a lot more people that knew this was going on. This type of behavior is happening in entertainment. Just some people get caught and some people don't. And to be honest with you, I'm going to say it on record. I think Diddy he's worse than R. Kelly. Because even in the R. Kelly situation, as bad as it may seem as far as the ages and that R. Kelly was messing with, you know, pulling up to the McDonald's, we know the whole story. But from what we heard with R. Kelly, those girls, whether they were young, old, they had an attraction to him as well. Whether the attraction was money, the attraction was his music, or them just trying to get into the music business, some of them would say, there was an attraction. So, because we even remember in the R. Kelly case, when they was telling, you know, why don't these girls just leave? Some of the girls didn't even want to leave. You know, they didn't really even want to leave. Now, when it comes down to Diddy's situation, it's more like a more forceful drugging them and like gang are in them, and the people that sat around for that, they just as bad. I think that it's not just Diddy. When we hear these whole situations, there were more people involved. Diddy is just like, you could say, the head ring. It's kind of like almost like a Rico, and in these times they call it the Frico. It's almost like, you know, the people that were around that were participating too. I don't see why they shouldn't be sitting right next to a cell next to them. It's next to Diddy, because at the end of the day, it seems like they participated too. They participated too. Yeah, so I've been watching that doc like almost every night, and I'm just like finding different things, and it's crazy, man. For those who haven't checked it out, I think it's about 2 or 3 copies on YouTube right now. They snuck up there, and just going off of that, you know, that little, you're gonna see a little box on the side. That's CapCut. CapCut is going through something right now, just like how TikTok was going through it. They're looking to shut down CapCut. It's a lot of things going on, you guys. A lot of regulations that's going into play, and a lot of things that we're going to be seeing in 2025 that's not, it's going to be surprising to a lot of us. A lot of regulations, I could just tell you on that. And it's kind of crazy. Now, this next topic I wanted to talk to you guys about, I really wanted to stick on this one, because we're going to have to take a rewind back. And for those who don't know, I'll kind of give you the best explanation I could on who and how this whole situation went down. Okay, so let's rewind back. The first thing I wanna, before we start this topic off, this is for the people that understand and believe in karma. For the rest of these people that you might be lost of it, you just don't know it, you don't understand it, this topic is not for you. You probably won't have any understanding of this. So what I'm talking about is, if we date back, I remember it was I don't remember the exact day or date, but I remember the time when the news had broke. I seen it going all around YouTube. You know, Gilly's son, and if you guys don't know, Gilly the king now. He calls himself. I know him as Gilly the Kid. In the past, he has his own podcast. It's called $1 Million Worth of Game, with him and his cousin Wallow. Great podcast. Very motivational for the youth coming up to watch and listen to, and their bond alone, it serves the good energy, and it makes the podcast of what it is. So now so the news had broke one day on YouTube in the past of Gilly, his son, his passing of his son, and somebody taking his son's life in Philadelphia. Now, what we know, and you know, we know in certain neighborhoods, it's very aggressive, and people that up to the most, there's a lot of crime going on, a lot of gun violence, and he fell victim to that. And it was just sad, just even knowing that somebody that we watch or listen to his music in the past has to deal with the loss of his son in such a tragic way. And I looked at that, and I didn't, you know, at first I couldn't find or understanding how Gilly would get back up on, you know, just get back to the podcast, and it wasn't like he was himself, but he was more like in a place where, like, he was trying to not, it felt like, just watching him at that time, it felt like he was in a place that just not wanting to deal with it, at least not on social media, and he was just, whatever he was dealing with was behind the scenes. And I've seen people talk about him in ways where it was like, you know, how could he come back and do the podcast while this happened? And sometimes you have to, it's all about perspective. And in my head, I'm thinking he has a different type of strength, a different type of mental strength, that he still knows that he has to continue his life. And even though his tragic son, whatever he may be dealing with internally and his feelings and for his past son, you know, it's not easy just getting on and turning on the camera and going back to work and doing what you do. But he did it, and he kept pushing on, pushing on, pushing on. So as the story goes, this is something recently I've seen. Karma has this way of, how can I say it? Karma has this way of catching up with the right people. And I've seen this story on YouTube from a couple of people posting it. Now, when I first seen it drop, I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. And then I see more people just, you know, dropping videos on it, and I wanted to give my take on it. Now, there's a guy named, let's see his name here. His name is Noah. Now, this is a kid that lived in Philadelphia as well. And Noah he's a school, he plays basketball for his school, and he was a great player at his school. These kids, they start at a young age when it comes down to sports, and you get to pick out, you can kind of see who is going to be pushing on into college and making it better for himself. But from what I can see, he was very good at basketball. But one thing that Noah took that ruined his life was drill music. So Noah fell into the drill music stages, and Noah became this rapper on the side. And so he was playing the lines of being successful in sports as well as being, I don't know if you could say successful or just being active, I should say, in the streets with this whole drill music and this gang stuff. And as the story goes, Noah found himself one day going to school. And before we get into that, the deeper he went into the drill music, the more I see people putting up information on him and how he was doing street activity. And he found himself, he was shot at one time playing in the streets, and at the same time he was a type of person, he was going out there and allegedly he had been shooting people and hurting people in the street, taking people's lives. And from what it says on the YouTube with a couple videos I've seen, that he was probably up to 3 or 4 people. And they're saying allegedly that one of those people that he had killed was Gilly's son, and he had some involvement to do with that. Now, I don't want to stay on the topic of, because I'm not a judge or I'm not a resident over there to tell you, who did what. But from what I can see is that the type of person he was, that karma was on its way. So fast forward, he's going to school, he's leaving out to go to school, he's got his mother in the front, and somebody runs up on him and they take his life in such a tragic way that the karma is still reeking in the air probably right now today in Philadelphia. And I looked at that situation and I said, you see that? And I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys as far as like my this is what happens. Whether you might feel like this is a sad story, this and that, this is what karma does. It's that, you had an opportunity to, I don't know how much, if that was your dream to play basketball. Some kids, they don't realize how good they are until in high school, till the coach start, telling them there might be a possibility they can do something. But you can just tell that him going into all that drill music and dealing with that type of energy, that took over him looking forward to his dreams in basketball. And he ends up trying to be like one of these top goons and the people like the King Vons and the people that we've seen with these stories in the past, some of these guys, half of these guys have passed away or in prison. So he takes on the traits of that, and now people are saying in his own neighborhood that he might possibly have involvement with Gilly's son. You see how karma works? So people want you to feel that pain. And I'm not, and that's just, it is, for his family, and I'm more, you have to, for his family the next time around, if you have any other sons, you have to really, for all families, you see your son, he's dealing with the drill music, and he's going out there, and your son is has basketball dreams, you have to steer your kid, because hip hop with that drill music is very powerful, and they can snatch somebody's attention quicker than somebody picking up a basketball and going out there and trying to live their dreams. So now somebody snatch his soul away, and you expect that people are supposed to have some kind of sympathy for that. Well, no, this is what the violence leads to. This is the reality of people that want to go and try to be this drill rapper and actually go live out that street life. It's a backward mindset. You don't go make music and go, just because you can't make a hit record, you go kill somebody. That's not your hit record. Yeah, that's views, but that's not your hit record. That's going to be the hit of your life. That's not a hit record. So now when that 360 karma turns around, now somebody go gun him down in front of his own mother with her eyes to see. Now, before we get into that, this I know because of the soul of Gilly and Wallow, this has nothing to do with Gilly and Wallow. Gilly prayed. Gilly has godly energy. No matter how people might look at it, that's his son. That's his son. That's his seed that somebody snatch him away. So I commend Gilly for not going out there like some of these fools out there and think that they can just go in retaliation. It has a way of working itself out. Because this guy done hurt so many people, so he doesn't know where, we don't know where this is coming from, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't even make sense of searching because we know it's ended because he's the one that was doing that violence. He's the one that followed that. That drill music is going to have people out of here. It's not the way to go. Now, I don't mind the drill beats. The beats and the sound of it is dope. I like the sound of it. And the energy of it is absolutely dope. You can't knock that. But it's the wording and the things that you think you have to do to make that record score to the people that really follow that music. That's the problem. So going out there and try, that's how it doesn't matter how big you are, how tough you are, how many bodyguards you have, if your family's around you. In these times, take life serious. You don't go and do harm to other people and think that it's not going to happen to you. It's no matter what anybody tells you, I'm here to tell you guys, y'all. Everybody that listens to me, you know I ain't got no time to come up here and make up this nonsense. No matter if you do something, there's always going to be a reaction. You might think it's not what in your time, it's always going to be a reaction. That's just life. Some people live with the reaction that comes with it. It doesn't. You know what you got to take on. If somebody did that to your family, the type of hurt that you think that you can handle, you don't know if you can handle. People are on the edge in these points, and people snap. So no matter how tough these people think they are, how many weapons they might have, or just because he ran up and did that to somebody, it doesn't mean that same situation can't happen to them. You got to be careful. Believe in karma. It's real. Healing energy to Gilly's family for having to go through that tragic loss from these people that's misguided, taking these weapons outside and using them to hurt their own people. It's sad. Now, talking about your own people, over the weekend, there was shouts out to my boy. If you guys watch my videos on the intro, you see Willie D, legendary rapper from the Ghetto Boys. One of my favorites from the past, very respectable dude. And the reason why I always put him on the intro, not just because he shouted me out, that's really cool that he shouted me out, but at the same point is because the respect he had from the beginning of his career up to this point. I remember he's one of the first people, as far as like the people coming from that past generations, to jump on YouTube and say, give it a shot. It's a whole bunch of people on here, but he's one of the first to do that. And I've seen him take the leap for himself, and he started building his channel, building it. And Willie D is doing great, big numbers, big views, and he's very intelligent too. So shouts out to Willie D. And this weekend, Willie D had an interview with Nelly, because Nelly, as well as I believe Snoop Dogg, and I believe it's Soulja Boy, they did a performance for Donald Trump's inauguration. Okay, now we know this back and forth was going around. Now I took this and I have to break this down to you guys on just my whole thoughts of this whole thing and where we can take this, and we have to have a better understanding as a people. Now, in the interview with Willie D and Nelly got there explaining that, it didn't really matter who was in office. He just felt like performing for the inauguration is something that he had that he wanted to do. It's a great thing that he felt like doing, no matter who was put in that office. He gave it that perspective, which was understandable. And I understood where Nelly was coming from when he said, he had family in the military, and everybody has their different outlooks on it. But it's only a couple things that got a little blurry with Nelly. He did say that, he wasn't, offered anything from any other presidents or vice presidents. And I don't know if he got paid for this, but that's where it kind of got a little tricky. Because Nelly's saying that he didn't get paid for this, and Soulja Boy said that he did get paid for this. So it just sounded a little weird. It sounded like some information was being misconstrued, right? So I heard what Nelly was saying, and I was just like, the temperature, but it's understandable if your intentions intentions aren't what people are thinking it is, then you go along and do what you got to do. But at the same point, when it came down to Snoop Dogg And him doing the inauguration, this was a whole different thing just because we've seen Snoop Dogg in the past stand up for the things he believed in and the type of person he believed Donald Trump was. And he was saying, all sorts of stuff about people, just going out there and being an Uncle Tom. We all know what an Uncle Tom is. That's the guy, he's going to stay in the house and he's going to watch people in the field and think he's better than them. And that's one of the things y'all know I don't like at all. So when I seen Snoop Dogg, he just did a whole 360 on his thoughts. Not saying people can't rethink things, but it just made me think like we have to be very careful on who are the people that, because, I don't know, these guys are rich from what I don't never knew how much Snoop Dogg or Nelly has. I don't count people's pockets, but I'm pretty sure those are big artists. And from the time they started till now, they should be millionaires and have a lot of money to not, make a better decision if it came down to, a financial reason they're doing it. Nelly gave a clear explanation why he did it, and I had nothing else to do but respect that. Whether I feel like it's not, whatever I might feel, if I don't feel again, that has nothing to do with me. He made himself clear, but as far as Snoop Dogg, it's kind of like you kind of went against the words you said, and it rubbed people the wrong way. But am I mad that Snoop and I'm not, and I heard Rick Ross and Soulja Boy as well, But look, listen, those are people's views. That's what we all have to know. Just be very clear and understand that some people have their own different intentions on things. And that's why it's very hard in these times to trust people. But when it comes down to Donald Trump, we all have to realize that, yes, that's our president. We do have to show some kind of respect. It's not like we got to run in the corner or run behind him and march behind him, but we have to still show the respect that he's our president. I mean, you can't go out there and just start. The man, at the end of the day, if you're pointing somebody out and you're saying they're the R, they're the this, they're the that, you got to understand, too, that this is social media. You got to know how to conduct yourself and show respect to people regardless. Sometimes in life, people will always give you this movie version of respect. If you don't respect me, this and this and that. But sometimes in life, you got to respect a person even if they don't have no respect for you. Because at the end of the day, the things that they hold and the things that they have to do with their careers and the things that they have that they're in charge of is way greater than what you as an individual feel about them as a person. Now, when it comes down to the president, yes, that's our president of America, and I see all these people with this uproar. But at the end of the day, it's not like Donald Trump. Kamala is a very good person. We love Kamala. I hear these people, they talk of this and that. I felt like she's one of the best too, and I felt like. For personally me, I don't want to give my take on what I feel like voting because people have this whole deep dive on who you voted for, this and that. But I just felt like the lady, she was strong. But it didn't work out that way. So what am I supposed to do? Run now and run to the corner like a little kid? No, we have to start understanding that we have to come together regardless of what the outcome is. If we don't have that type of energy, then you got to move yourself out of this fight. This fight ain't for you. If you need to go back and check your history, now you're talking about Martin Luther King and see that his humbleness, it's like people can't even go into that type of humbleness Martin Luther King Jr. had back then. They don't. And sometimes, it's respectable because in these times, that type of humbleness that Martin had, it could be dangerous. It could be very dangerous because you have to be very careful with social media. People will put you in a place where they feel like they could define you. So if you don't define yourself and who you are and the things you stand for, they'll put you in a box with a whole bunch of people, So I look at it like, show some respect. Let's just, when they say hope for the best, you still got to hope for the best regardless if you know what the outlooks or the outcomes are going to be because you've seen this in the past. It's no time to be complaining now when things are happening. Me personally, I don't feel like it's going to be that much different when it comes down to society and the communities unless we step forward and start making these changes ourselves. If we are dependent on other people to do this and do that, look, and another thing when it comes to the, Donald Trump and how he feels about the Central Park 5, if you don't know the story and you don't know what's going on, then you don't jump into this. You don't, look, first of all, when it comes down to the judicial system, when you go in them courts, right, and then people ask you questions, they're asking you questions, and you say that you did it. No, regardless if you feel like you're forced, you said you're guilty. If you put that in there, it's gonna be hard to fight that regardless. However, something went down out there, okay? And I'm not pointing finger at anybody, but how he feels about it doesn't give you no right to say, oh, what he did. You wasn't there. You wasn't there. And half of these people that's standing behind this, they don't know their history. Sometimes you just gotta let things be because there's no outcome of this situation. Now, whether he feels like they should be in prison or not, that's how he's feeling. But how he's feeling with the world, that's when we come in. That's when we come in. We don't, not his personal feelings on certain people. Don't let all this other stuff confuse you people of what's really going on. That's not what's happening. Nobody's running. Look, let me tell you, when it comes to jail, prison, and all this stuff, people that do crimes, that thing is like a revolving door. They're going to be in and out, and the more it keeps turning, less people are going to be coming out. There's a price tag for criminals. There's a price on those guys' head. From the beginner criminals all the way up to the professionals, there's a price on those people's head. If they want money, they just go grab them up and throw them away, and then they get paid for those people. Don't you know how this life thing works? It's serious out here. It's very, very serious out here. So pay attention to things like that, and don't let people confuse you. If you have a decision, voting. The voting time is over. That's over. We have to learn how to move on from certain situations. We got to learn how to move on. Oh, my bad. My bad. I didn't answer who we was talking about. I was just talking about the whole situation with, just Snoop Dogg and Nelly and Soulja Boy. Just people's opinions on this whole inauguration stuff. I just feel like after the situation is, we have to keep moving forward. We can't keep going backwards. And look, man, once the game's over, the game's over. Sometimes they even jerked Mayweather in the Olympics, man. The man never lost a fight. They had to take the fight away from him. It happens to so many people in so many different certain situations that you got to learn how to move on. That's the best way to look at that. Now, another thing I wanted to bring to you guys. I always talk to you guys about fashion. I have my own line. I always tell you guys, if you want to start a brand, I can give you guys tips on everything to just get your brand going, so you won't have to go out there and spend so much with these people's companies that don't care about you. And we could all have our little closet blended, and we buy from each other, and we start mixing and matching our styles, and we come together like that. Because Pharrell drops a new Louis Vuitton sneaker, and people just go crazy. And now let me tell you the reason why. He doesn't understand his energy. Now, from the time he started the Billionaire Boys Club back in the day, we loved the way the brand looked. Everything was dope about the brand. But like I explained to you guys, the pricing on the brand was too much. The brand was supposed to be, first it started on the launch. It was, coming off of his whole skateboard P, and people in that type of those type of people that worked on, like the people that looked up to him up to that point with the skateboard P and all the sport, the price didn't match the type of clothing that they wear. So it started pushing itself into the more of the hip hop high fashion, I would say. Not luxury fashion, but this hip hop high fashion, trying to match like prices with, maybe you could say kind of like a Polo. Does not really too much, but just it was higher than even Polo in pricing. And a lot of people couldn't match that price. And that's the reason. And I always say, we have to find our value within ourselves. So Pharrell comes around now and he drops this Louis Vuitton sneaker, and people are just like I told you, people are saying it looks like the Nike Cortez. And it does. It is the Nike Cortez, you guys. And that's the reason why I love Gen Z and all the youth coming up now, because they're going to call it what it is. Of course it is, you guys. I told you guys before, stop designing on them people's shoe and then telling people that it's your shoe. If you design on a Nike, it's that a Nike Cortez. But if you think that if you want to construct something, just make it original, and it doesn't have to have a big Louis Vuitton sign on it to make people say, oh, I want to buy into that. That's what they push him out there to get people to be confused and buy that sneaker. Is it worth the expensive price? I believe it's like $1,000. I don't feel so. But who am I? Because there's gonna be people out there that feels like when they put on that shoe now, that there's somebody and there's some walking around like there's some, they the man, but that's not really what it is. You're supposed to know that before that. In these times, you could tell people are so disconnected to their communities that the prices that they're charging, the high prices, a lot of their fans and things like that, they can't afford that. Now, some people will bust ass and do things, whatever, and waste money to get it just to say something. But at the end of the day, why do you have your own people reaching if you consider them your own people? I don't know. But it just doesn't make sense. You see a lot of companies right now, they are matching prices with what's going on in the communities. A lot of things is going on that's making companies, look at Macy's, I believe they're doing like joint with JCPenney's, I'm hearing, and people's prices are dropping, but at the same point, it's because people can't afford it. A lot of people on social media will front and say, oh, I got this, I got that. But just because you bought into all of that nonsense doesn't say you have money, and it doesn't say you have a brain on you. You look crazy. And I've been telling you this, people looking crazy, don't you think it's a setup? You can't, I'm gonna tell y'all something. You can't even sneaker collect in these times. You wanna know why? Because those sneakers are built on the same type of structure as how the iPhones and all the TVs, it's not gonna last. By the time you open that box in a year or two to check and see how you line your sneakers up, the thing is crumbling in there. They want you to keep subscribing or keep going into buying into. You're kind of like leasing this. Don't lease your life away. Don't go out there and have this whole bunch of junk behind you and feel like that make you somebody, because it ain't like it was in the past. You got to wake up and understand what's going on in these times. Everything is fast, like fast food, fast fashion, fast living. Fast money, everything is just fast. And that's what is killing people in these times. Not paying attention and not even caring about the value. See, the more you, look at you hear the type of music that's coming out now? I know you guys can go pick out some of your favorite songs and probably say, look, listen to this. But what you're not understanding is it's not a lot of that. You got to dig for that. You got to dig for that good music. You can't, the good music is not in your face. The music that you're hearing in your face it sounds karaoke, music that has been tried over and over again and seemed to work. The remix of the remix of the remix of the remix. And that's the worst way to eat. That's why the youth right now, they are fighting back. I put up a video for you guys. After this, you guys can go check it out. A couple videos, new videos I got up. But one of them is the 9-to-5 work traditional way of working. In other words, that the way things used to be, it's not even amounting to now. What could spared your life in the past and took care of your family, what they paid you before, that can't even hold your rent in these times. So when you see a lot of these businesses not adapting to the new way and they're just finding ways to push people out, it's because they have greed in them. They want to get more workers out, more AI in, and more money in their pockets. And these traits are put out to celebrities because celebrities want their piece of the dollar, not realizing that it's hurting their own communities that they came from. And they put the biggest celebrities to pitch it to us. So you can spend your last on that nonsense and that foolishness. An ugly sneaker. It's a Nike sneaker. And that's the reason why a lot of these companies like Nike, and shouts out to New Balance too for just supporting the WNBA. That's really dope. But all of those sneakers, they have their story. They made their brand. If you want to make a sneaker, you don't go take a Nike Uptown or a Nike Jordan and start creating on top of it and say it's yours. Is that ownership? You can't do the remix of how many times are you going to keep remixing until you think about it in your head, let me structure a sneaker from the scratch. And then you can't be wrong and strong. You get up there now, and then you push it in front of your people, and when they rebel against you, you feel some kind of way. No, you slapped Louis Vuitton on a thing, and you told your people, buy this for $1,000. The sneaker industry is not the same like how it used to be. These people are not just, the sneakers are not lasting, and people are spending a whole bunch on sneakers, and it's almost like, why would you think sneakers will last? Look, social media, you can't see what I'm wearing on my feet. Right now, look. Does it matter? So, I just feel like that some of these people need to get a good rewiring because they're not only are they disconnected from how what's going on in our communities, but all they have is this greed sense of I need to get more. And you know what? The more they get, it doesn't mean like they're going anywhere. They're gonna be stuck in that same mental state. And it's still gonna pull them down regardless of how much money you have. The same people you rob, probably you turn around, karma hit you, the doctors rob you of your life. Do you understand how it works? You probably don't. Until it goes down and then it's like this over. And let's get to the TikTok too. Okay, so TikTok, we seen that it has shut down. I felt some kind of way, but in my head, I'm like, you know what? I always have that type of mentality where, you know, all good things come to an end. Come on, baby. You want this feeling forever. That's your problem. That's America's problem. And that's the reason why people get stuck on these drugs and the drugs take their life away. You want to get higher, 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 higher. Everything don't last forever, baby. You got to understand that. Life goes too. That's why you have to appreciate it while you're here. So when I seen that TikTok was going, I was already a step ahead. I had a few more, videos I wanted, more conversations. And I was already on a way of rerouting my conversation and building into something else. But I seen a lot of other people, man. And it made me say to myself, I said, damn, a lot of people like they was going to lose their life over this TikTok. Now, some people, they have businesses and things that like that of that sort. So, it kind of hurts that you have to turn your business over on a different platform where you grew with that platform. But some other people, I mean, they were almost like losing it for just, they're putting up pictures. And that just goes to show you the power of social media and just the strength that it has. Because not only was that going to drop a lot of jobs, the unaliveness was going to be going on. The rates of that is going to be going on. It's going to be hitting the roof. I ain't lying to you. Don't let these people tell you, oh, no, it's safe out here. The subways are safe and the food is good. Come on down and eat it. And then when you eat it, you in a coffin. I'm going to tell you like it is. No, people are going to be unaliving themselves. Those rates are going to be high up. And don't think we're going to see a lot more kids and we're going to see a lot more people in authority like officers and things like that we don't know what they're dealing with. You got to be mindful of the people around you and your surroundings, even those your local people in your neighborhood. I don't care if you have if you have your gripes against authority, whether it be cops, detectives, or whatever it may be, you keep that inside. You don't bring that on social media. But when you're out there, you just got to realize and make sure that they know who you are in a clear version and don't get you confused with one of these knuckleheads that run out there with the pistols in their hand and get killed and be on the news for the headlines for us to speak on it. You got to stay away from that stuff. Because they're all going down, no matter how you look at it, no matter how they try to cut this cookie, it's going to go down the same way. I promise you. As much as they smile in your face, they know they next. They know they next. They know they next, y'all. They know they next. Their souls are up for grabs from the wrongs that they did. Just like the Diddys and the people like the Weinsteins, all those guys that took advantage of people. How long you thought those weasels were going to live? What you guys want to be entertained by these devilish acts for the rest of your life? Where do you think that's going to put you? You think that's going to get you in heaven? Why don't you wake up? We got to wake up and realize the things that we're watching, the things that our intake is going to be a part of our lives because of social media. There's been in the past, in these times, you can watch a church service like my grandmother on social media. So what does that tell you? That tells you that people are putting the good word through here, but people are also putting that bad word to switch your head up on here as well. You got to be careful. How many times you heard celebrities say, oh, I don't believe in God? You damn right you don't believe in God, because all the sins that you did, that you know you did all the way up to get you to that point, you know your ass in trouble. You know, at any minute you turn around and go around that corner, somebody can bop you in the head and nobody ain't going to even turn to care about you because all the wrong you did behind that last block. And that's the reason why you go out there and you fool your audience. I'm not with it. I'm not with it. You got to be very careful of people that just stand up here and act like they're for you when they're not for you. I don't care. Look, let me tell you, Diddy was the richest. He was a billionaire. You would think in your head, with the billions of dollars, why would you rob so many people around you? But that's the power of selfishness. And that same power of selfishness would be the same thing that brought his demise and the people around him. So for the people that worked around him and all the people that felt like he was this guy that's going around, you guys should have took a note to tell that man, nah, that ain't right. I don't think you should put that out on somebody else. Don't send people over there to hurt that person. I don't think that's right. It ain't really a big deal. Let that one slide. You don't got that in you because you felt like the way people looked at you when you was a young kid, they didn't look at you like any power. They looked at you like the private school kid and you have nothing to offer to the streets. You see, you got to be smarter than that. How I came up was different. I always had something to offer wherever I went. And that's why the streets took me and my brother in the way it did. Because people around here, they got love for me. And then there's also some people that's going to have that jealousy. You grow up around it. It's just how life works. But at the end of the day, who you are as a person is always going to be stay with you, no matter what any other people say. A lot of people, they talk the most, but do they stand behind the things they say? Nah, everybody want to be this and be that when it's time to put it up on social media. But when it's time to cut the cameras off, they ain't that person. They fronting. And a lot of these people that say they'll hurt something, they ain't going to die for nothing. It's a difference. They quick to hurt something, but they won't die for, they ain't dying for anything. I'm telling you. They ain't dying to save somebody, or if somebody do something, they ain't going out there to risk it and sit in that cell and say, you know, it was worth it. They ain't doing that. They ready to tell on their next man to get him out of here so they can stay out here and do all this yibbity yap with this rap stuff. And that's the reason why we find ourselves in a place of distrust with our own people. And it's sad, but it's the truth. We can't trust just our own people. I said to myself, damn, man, we're going to have to fight each other and still go fight them other people. I know my people, man. We got to fight each other because we don't believe each other, man. We don't believe each other. We don't have no trust in each other. As much as we come up here and act like everything is all good, it ain't all good with our culture. It ain't all good. It's not all good. I put up another video about Puerto Ricans versus Dominicans, the dynamics and the divide between them. And don't you know there's black Puerto Ricans and there's black Dominicans too? Did you know that? You cannot keep basing somebody on their complexion. When are we going to wake up? We have a lot of miseducated people on here coming up here spilling this just for arguments with people and just to stir people up. But they're misguided. They don't want to bring people together. They want to spread people apart. But the more we have a better understanding of each other, we'll know that our cultures, everybody yibbity yap about everybody. It's like neighbors, man. Talk a bunch of nonsense. As long as you don't bring it out in the street, in your workplace, in your friendships, and the people you surround yourself, you'll be all right. Everybody talk about everybody. That's just life, man. You can't just point, he's a racist, he's a this and this. You can't do that in these times. Sometimes the person that's going to go out there and help you will be somebody from a different culture. We know this already. You can't count people out. There's a lot of white people out there that's not racist and understand the struggle that we dealt with, but they just can't put their hands on it to know what to do next. So they just go along with whatever we got going on. They try to put a little fun to it and help us out because they know the struggle. And then there's some people that they don't believe in it. They think it's just a story and they're jealous of our struggle, the way we make it to this point and make it seem like it's nothing. So they're jealous of that. You got to be mindful of different peoples and how people think. You got to fix yourself up. Fix yourself in the way you think, man, and stop being so quick to tear down your own people. Know that everybody has their reasons for doing certain things, and you can't just sit there in the corner because Donald Trump is the president, and you didn't get your vote through and you didn't win, you're going to go in the corner and don't say nothing. Who are you? Man, they make black people every single day. You better wisen up. Don't come up on this social media with that nonsense back and forth like you're going to stay a whole, like you're going to make this a seasonal or a series of black people going back and forth. No, that ain't going to last too long. We're going to tune out of that. Because all you know is about destruction. You know nothing about unity or bringing people together, having some kind of understanding that's substantial enough to go out there and teach the youth. All you can tell the youth is these stories about how you hurt people. I'm sick of that crap. I'm sick of that. The more I hear people saying they hurt people, I'm like, you know, it's just a list of karma of that. Imagine how it hurt when it spins back on them. So when I see these stories about like, oh, you just snatched Gilly, the kid's, his son's life, and you go on with social media and you laugh and your family having a ball. You think your family going to be able to have a ball for the rest of their life when you do that to somebody's family? Are you crazy? Who you think you are? You God? Don't let me hear these guys running around like, I'm God, I'm God. Yo, listen, let me tell you something. If you don't do your history and start knowing who you are as a person, don't come out here telling these people how you're a God or king. Get that nonsense out of here. You got to know yourself first. Before you call yourself God, be a good person. We don't deal with no evil gods. There's no in between. There's no in between good people and bad people. It's one or the other. You pick your side and you stay on it. You don't come out here and try to fool people. That's why a lot of people don't believe in a lot of these rappers. I don't care which one of them is. You could be tough as all you want. The only thing you ever did was hurt your own people, and it's sad out here. And people are starting to realize how people treat people. I've been telling you all this from the beginning. I don't like the way they talking to people, man. I don't like the way some of them talking to people. And it's not everybody. I got respect for a lot of rappers that hold respect in their music. So this doesn't mean every rapper. It's just a lot of new faces that they got. I don't like how they coming with it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Y'all gotta do better with the music, man. You gotta put more substance to your music. You gotta cut that out, man. We're not in high school. We're not kids anymore, man. You gotta do something better than that. You gotta do better than that. The youth is being misguided, and all you can sit there and put a beat to all of this nonsense and violence. You can't do that. You gotta do better than that. When I say I ain't listening to it, it's not because I'm hating on you. It's because it ain't no good. How could you get mad at me? Look what I came from. I came from Nas, these guys, KRS-One, Biggie Smalls, Rakim, Cool G Rap. What do you want me to do? You gotta be more, you gotta put you gotta put some substance in your music. And this has nothing to do with the South. I love how what the South brought to hip hop that will forever be. The South ain't got nothing to do with this. They ain't got nothing to do with this. They still stuck to their culture. They ain't with that drill. No, the South, nah, man. That's why I salute them dudes, man. You know, they'll take it up a street notch, but they only go so far, and then they bring it right back down to that Southern hospitality and back to their culture. The South had kept their music more culture driven than a lot of other places. Come on, look at it. And that's the reason why they had the longest run. It is what it is. Care if you're mad. Out here in New York, we're more worried about, what he did or it don't matter what they did. What are we doing now? Out here, I'm gonna tell everybody that's tuning in, that's from other places, don't think that New York like New York, man. It's sad. I'm gonna tell you all the truth. New York don't like New York. I hear people be hating, man. Big hating, yo. Big hating. We got that from the South, people sticking together. That wasn't us. When you hear these stories about these groups breaking up and that ain't nothing foreign to us. We used to that. A lot of people don't want to admit it. They get a little piece of money because they come from they start talking all crazy. Looking crazy in all of this funny clothing and all this stuff. Nobody want to buy that stuff. Why would I want to buy into something somebody don't even want me to wear? Are you crazy? You be a fool thinking, oh no, I'm going to buy it anyway. Yeah, so that's going in their pocket. What are you talking about? Why don't you build your own brand for your own people? And I bet you probably, you know what, don't do it. Because you're going to probably attach those prices to whatever nonsense you got just because you want to attach a high price to just because of your name. Nobody ain't buying that either. I understand why we have this problem. We got to fight our own as well as fight everybody else. Ain't that something? It's a shame out here, man. We can't even trust our own. We can't. Let's face it. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. You know you can't. When you know you can't trust everybody. Come on now. Come on. I'm seeing 6ix9ine. Well, you know, from that, it's a past incident. Let me see here. He's filing. It's like this is lawsuit city. 6ix9ine files $1 million lawsuit against the LA Fitness over that 2023 incident. So you see how things are going? Don't think because a year, 2, 3, 4 years passed that it's not going to get pulled up the next day. That's why I say things will catch up to you. There's a lot of things going on, so everything can't hit the board at one time. But as the days go on, yeah, those footsteps get closer. That's why I said if you're going to do music, do music. Stop trying to show who's the toughest. To be honest with you, there ain't no toughest, and especially in New York. I don't remember anybody being. I hear tons of stories about this killer, that killer, this dealer, that dealer. I don't remember the toughest. I don't know. They probably dead. They probably dead. They probably dead. Now, if you go for the wisest, well, that's going to be the guy that lived to tell the story and tell you what not to do and the mistakes that were made within it. But when the toughest, I don't know. I don't champion that. I don't know. Who cares? Like, I don't know. I feel like when a weapon's involved, it's a 50-50 chance. It's all about, at that point, who cares about their life more and how far you're willing to go as far as a situation to get out of it. So when you tell me about toughness, it varies. Right now, I'm talking about just the whole thing about how, like, people are, the things that they're doing. Like, I just spoke on this, the 6ix9ine incident. He's filing a lawsuit for something he didn't, like, I guess he got beat up or something like that. I don't know. You guys remember about this guy. He got beat up or something like that in a gym or something like that. And speaking about a gym, let's real quick, before this lose my mind, y'all, real quick. You remember Method Man? You heard the story about him fighting his daughter's ex-boyfriend or something like that. I recently seen a post, right? It said that Meth said that nothing didn't happen. And all I wanted to say is, I hope that's true, Meth, because at the end of the day, they're going to have cameras and things like that. Meth is my guy. I know that I was more on his side than anything. I mean, when it comes to, people don't play about their family and their kids. So at the end of the day, there was no way I was going to go against Meth on that. But him just saying that not anything that happened, you got to be very aware in these times of the cameras and things like that. Hopefully, it doesn't go that far because, hey, sometimes a fight is just a fight. Let me see what else here. But, oh yeah, so, and another thing too, I always like to bring you stories, but I like to give you some updates on what's been going on too. Rasta, I'm not a Rasta though. To be honest with you, before this I had a low-cut Caesar, but my life got, anxiety started kicking in, and one year I just stopped cutting my hair. It's a whole thing that this is stories behind every lock on my head, man. There's a story behind it, trust me. But when it comes to Rasta, I'm not even Jamaican. I'm actually Bayesian. My family from Barbados, you dig? But there's Rastas in Barbados too. Big up to all the Rastas. Big up to all the dreadheads, all my dreadheads out there. Yeah, I love my locks though. But I told you guys a story in the past about Trey Songz and just this guy. I believe he was a police officer, or he was a ex-officer, whatever he was. And he had bust into the hotel. He said they was trying to save his wife. Man, please. What do you mean trying to save your wife from a hotel? I ain't running to no hotel to save my wife. She's being saved in that room. What the hell is she doing in that hotel with Trey Songz? So they threw this out, and because they had charged where they had, I guess because Trey Songz didn't show up or something like that, they had granted them people out, what it was, 11.2 million. So now they threw it, I guess they're gonna go over it. I guess he won, and they're not doing that anymore because of the fact that maybe it's misinformation. Let's be honest here. Yeah, it's up to you. A lot of these situations, and like I told you, even with the Diddy situation with Kim, yeah, she was in the wrong some way too. It wasn't like she was just all the way squeaky clean, but her wrong just didn't amount up to the wronger stuff that happened. So in other words, Kim was wrong when she came in there with Al B. Sure. And then just because a man says, oh, I want her, and starts trying to pursue her, very disrespectful, it doesn't mean that now you ended up with him. So there is wrong in that. And females got to take that too and understand the things that you do and how you lead people on, or whatever it may be. You have to be more in control of the people you want in your life. Because look what happened. Now, that happened with two people. Two of the females it happened to, her and Cassie. Both of y'all have boyfriends. Both of y'all. Both of you guys have boyfriends, and you still went off with somebody else. And that was how easy it was that demon snatched you away, and look where y'all ended up. Now, it's not to say that y'all was deserving of it, but it's an eye-opener to the ladies too. You got to wake up. You think it's good, or the grass is green on the other side, you go over and that man's a demon, and he in there beating your behind. He in there whooping your behind. And for what? Some money. You see what happens? That's you should. If Cassie had stayed with Ryan Leslie and Kim had stayed with Al B. Shore, All of this nonsense wouldn't probably have happened because Diddy feels like his greediness, he can buy out everybody. You see what happens when you leave a price on your head and somebody could afford you? So that's what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about Diddy and these dummies out here that think that money is everything in life. And that's what happens. Somebody put a price tag on your head and now people are paying for you and you doing whatever you want. That lady said, the Ashley lady said that she walked in and Diddy was giving some other dude head. And up to this day, the hip hop community, they scared that he's bisexual. Yeah, he's bisexual. You know everything else. But when it comes down to these situations, you're like, blur out. You know why? Because a lot of those guys, some of those guys are bisexual too. Yeah. Him giving head to, getting head from a guy inside of his, remember, these things are not illegal. This is what he was doing. This is what he was doing. And he was flirting with rappers in front of our faces. And we acted like we didn't know what was going on. The ladies did, because the ladies know when somebody's flirting. They can pick up on that from a mile away. From 3-4 desks away, they can pick up you when you're flirting with them. You think they didn't know that Diddy was flirting with these rappers? Let the ladies tell it. Let the ladies tell it. They'll tell you exactly who's who in this. They'll tell you. People got all this, and the thing is, the things you cover up says a lot about you. It says a lot about you. So many people in the industry disappeared now ever since this Diddy thing go down. People scared to say this and that. You know why? Because y'all are the same people that Martin Luther was speaking against. You keep your mouth shut. You're just as bad as them demons doing that to them victims. So don't go hug up on them victims acting like you care. You don't care. The only time those type of people care is when they become a victim. That's what usually happens. Yeah, when they become a victim because of the karma they seen that little girl of going through that, and they turned a blind eye to that, and now when everybody wants to want to be good, acting like they're good, they put on this fake mask and now they feel like they're against him. Y'all in the wrong too. If y'all think that Diddy's not talking, y'all are crazy. I feel like any entertainer to rapper will talk. Don't let nobody fool you out there tough. I would never snitch. Yeah, right. Somebody take a little piece of your YouTube money and you ready to go kill somebody. You telling me you ain't gonna snitch? Are you crazy? You trying to lie to me? You can't fool everybody, man. No, we are human beings and we know better. These people are telling their own mother, let alone die for somebody. They ain't standing up for nothing. And you believe them. They almost lost their brains because TikTok was out. I couldn't believe it. I thought a fire was going on in New York. I was ready for the change, so let's go. You gotta adapt to whatever's going on. It's burning outside, okay, let me put on my jacket. This is the end. I'm gonna look back one time on all my stuff and I'm gonna leave it and go about. Every single time, because I know nothing in life is promised. You keep out here acting like you're making up this fairy tale. Life ain't no fairy tale. Who told you that? Who told you that? This is real and it's going to get realer. Not only are we going to see war, we're going to see a big divide with the people that's lost up here to the people that know it. Don't you see even the politics kicking back the same jargon and selling y'all the same nonsense? They took on the same aspect. They took on the same rhetoric as how the rappers do. You want to be smart? Let's dress like it. And they tell you anything with this pile of tricks. They are buying people. People are easy to be bought when they know the value in themselves. So when you ask me, when I see these type of things and these people going over here and doing this inauguration, none of it it's not a surprise to me. It didn't bother me one bit. It's not like if you go next to Donald Trump, you got to run like this. Who are you? You're definitely not the black folks that we're used to, that we heard in the past that our ancestors told us about, and we have read these stories that they fought. People was losing their lives and family lives. We're the people that we want the money. We're more about the money. You let somebody call you an N-word and spit on you just to give you a few dollars. Don't lie to me. I can see it. I can see the measures you take on social media to do anything to get anywhere. It's crazy out here, man. I just can't with y'all, man. I definitely got it. Like, I just can't with y'all. When you can't trust your own people, it gets scary. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to y'all. People will do anything for a little piece of money. Put on a clown outfit, say the most craziest stuff. No research, nothing, no education, nothing, and they come up here with this strong head. Crazy, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. That's why I just look and I just like, man, y'all in trouble. I'm be prepared for whatever's set next to come. I'm sorry. How would I let something like a media, come on now. Social media didn't make me and it would never be able to break me. I know the level of what I put on here and I'm very aware of where it goes. I'm not a fool. I'm not a fool. Certain things I don't bring up here. How about that? I gotta tell you how I get this and get that. That's none of your business. Unless I feel like bringing whatever that's none of your business. Some of these people gotta go find their father. There's a lot of people lost out here. Go find a father figure, somebody greater than yourself you can look up to and find a better route, because you're going out here and hurting people with all this gang stuff. Look how long that stuff is lasting. They're building more prisons for you guys. More of them. I see it. I can't believe they're tricking people right in front of their face. Right in front of their face. Let you talk about some politics now on YouTube and see if it get the same amount of views. No! He's already in office. You don't get what's going on? They got you, man. Man. So let me see what else we got here. So today's episode, this is all driven by the power of karma. I would say this is the power of karma. People that feel like it won't happen to them. You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. The jokes and stuff, I don't really care about the jokes. Everybody a comedian. Everybody want to dip in the comedian bag when they feel, embarrassed about themselves. But then you take a look at some of these guys, the way they talk down onto the females, this and that. All of this type of energy is very well expected. They're lost in themselves. They don't know who they are. Or they got problems of their own that they haven't solved, that it lash out on other people. It's always the same thing. So when I see these situations like that goes down and you're taking people's lives, do you think those kids don't have families that pray and pray? I will pray on your, what? I get on my knees and pray on you. Are you kidding me? Don't you ever think there's something wrong with you speaking to God on a personal, because you don't got, these are human beings around us, even our own families. They just humans. You speak to the Most High and you let him know how you really feel, and God will bless you. Half of these people, they don't know their leg from their head. Life is what you make it, and that's deeper than what you think. You got to go out there and then be you, be yourself. Stop looking at these other people. You don't know what's going on in their lives. They'll tell you anything for you just to look up to them. A lot of these females I see nowadays, they're lost looking for the wrong guys. A lot of the guys looking for the wrong chicks. And I want you guys to also check out that, it's really deep, that video. I want after this you guys to check out that Dominican and Puerto Rican, just that whole, and you start to realize these stories, these conversations are being held in everybody's cultures. So while we think that we going back and forth, that culture over there doing the same thing. We gotta wake up. We gotta do better than that. I don't really care about it. It's like it's almost like the Super Bowl performance and the inauguration Grammys. They're all in one batch. If I catch it, I catch it. If I don't, I see it on YouTube. It's not that much of a big deal for me. It's not really. It ain't really that for me. As much as people say, oh, the whole world's gonna be watching, it's not really a big deal for me. So what? That day something more important might come up and I might miss it and catch it back. It's not that much of a big deal. Concentrate on the things that's more meaningful in life than this other social media nonsense. I was happy to get on here and speak to you guys again from all the craziness that's been going on. I've seen people losing it over these topics that don't even make, it ain't gonna go nowhere. Nelly wanting to perform and he has his routes of why he want to perform. I've seen a lot of, look at Kanye West as a good example. When you're talking about people that turn on their own people or people that don't follow through with how they first set out what they said they was going to do. He's a good example of that. Very talented. I can't take his talent away from him. I can't take his creativity away from him. But one thing I can take away from him is his lies, his lies, his lies. It's a man that he's just like a storage unit. You tell him information, he takes it in and he splurts it out on however he wants. And it's nothing really ever sticks because it comes off disrespectful with a little bit of, with a little recipe of narcissistic thoughts to it. Then he realizes there's other people in the world great too. Making a beat is not the greatest thing you can do in the world. And he still keeps on this demonic energy that he loses himself in the sense. This is his story. He went from The Wire to a person that we don't even know anymore. Is it the game that changed him? Or is it just him that changed him? We don't know. We don't know. But a lot of these people, you might think they come out unscathed, but they don't come out alive. The entertainment business is brutal. Don't forget, don't leave your person that you once, don't leave yourself back there with them. Come out and bring your true self out, because a lot of these times, look, listen, I've bought into music since a kid. I've supported hip hop since a kid. I don't care nobody can tell me anything. But at the end of the day, I refuse to support that demon energy and hurting people in this type of you don't care energy. Because you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna be a headline. Not a Grammy, a headline on the news. The karma is real, y'all. The karma is real. So all I got to say, the karma is real. Let me see what else I got here. But just pay attention to how people treat you. You see, when you see people like the Dipset and things breaking up and they can't stick together, and you start really breaking stuff down of why these things happen, it's bigger than what we think. Yeah, it's embarrassing, but forget about who's embarrassing. Forget about all that nonsense about embarrassment. Really think how deep this really is. In our culture, it takes that much more to be successful around your own people without any type of harm coming to you or having to watch your back, because people feel like your success should be their success without the hard work that you put into it. A lot of our people are lost. And it's this whole, because when social media came in, it gave fools a paycheck too. Because you can act like a fool and still get paid for it. And then it makes that the person that's putting it, it's almost like people are looking, people have great potential and could be different things, but being that this is the only thing that kind of you see through your lens, people are running to social media because they're not being compensated at their workplaces. I put another video up on that too, you guys can go check out. These are all new videos that I'm just remembering these conversations to bring to you guys. But that's just how it goes. We're not, people are catching on. The tricks, and there's one thing y'all could take from this. Donald Trump, there's one thing I really noticed about him that you could respect this. I could tell you that when Donald Trump, in that office, he's going to tell us if this, let's just say, it might sound funny, let's just say they was hiding things about aliens or hiding things about this destruction or who did whatever to Martin Luther King, and we have a different story. He's going to tell us. That's one thing you can know. He's not all the way with them and they're hiding this stuff. He's not with that. That you could count on him. He's going to run his mouth. That man going to tell. And you want to know why? Because it also shows that nobody's perfect. And the things that he did, he know them people ain't messing with him. He know they don't like, when he turned his back, he know nobody's a fool. He knows. So he's going to tell what people, he's going to let out that information. And that's the reason why we're going to hear a lot of things that for some people, they ain't going to want to believe it. But for others, it's going to be a jaw dropper. So that's another thing we got to look out for. Things that we never expected to happen or being said, or information that was held back. We're going to see a lot of that in 2025. A lot of that stuff is going to be brought up. A lot of it. Be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared. Stop worrying about you know, whatever agendas you had going, when, you know, if whatever agendas you would still fight, keep fighting for your whatever you got going. But just because it didn't work out this way for you, don't mean that you got to boil up into a ball and just, no, keep working at it, keep chipping at it, and eventually your agenda is going to get heard, and something's going to be done about it. Sometimes it's just not your time. And sometimes that time that you thought it was, if you had went that route, it would have been bad for you. So you just got to take it in wherever God leads you, whatever road he leads you on, be willing to go down it. That's all. Whatever's coming next, whatever, bring it. Bring it. Have that type of rebel energy inside. That whatever's next to come is supposed to happen. You just got to deal with it however it comes. And that's just how we on it. That's the energy you got to have. I tell people all the time, man, if it was all about the views and all the things like that, man, I won't be able to get nowhere. Especially with all these fake people, man. They faking everything from the views to their stories. I've heard hip-hop stories being retold in different ways with different people in them. People don't realize that they're being taped, and you can put their videos together and see one lie after the next. They don't realize that. It's just like an ongoing, oh, I don't think they're going to pull it up. And then when somebody pull it up, oh, why is he doing this? He's snitching. No, you said it right there. And now when you said this is something different, wake up. People don't know. They get on here and they talk the most. And then when people start rerouting what's going on, they're like, oh, yeah, now what we got to define what's true and what's not. No, you're not a truthful person, so whatever you say can't be fully trusted. That's how it goes. Now, oh, now I was telling the truth this time. No, we can't trust you. And that's the reason why we have a holdback in our community right now, that we can't trust each other, and it's rightfully so. Because a lot of people will do anything for massa. They'll do anything. For that, just to say, oh, I'm in the house, y'all are out there. Well, how long do you expect to live? When you end up getting out there, guess who's going to get you? We are. You're not a leader. And a lot of people, half of the world is straight for the money. And don't even know what to do it when they get it. It's going to ruin their whole family, the whole thing, everything down, because their whole lineage, it's just going to just wipe it all out. We've seen this all the time. You think it's a joke? You think I'm just saying it to say it? But you watch and see how this goes. You watch and see. The levels, and always remember, the level of depression is going to be at highest in 2025. They don't care about you, man. They want to push y'all back to work and to work for nothing and just get on the line and do whatever, just like a circle. And it's kind of like just buying people out and replacing you. You got to show these people that you're not replaceable. That wherever you sit down, wherever you got going, and wherever you working at, that you're gonna leave a mark there. You're not replaceable. Stop treating these people you like they could just throw you away and hire the next person. If they feel so, don't buy into their products. Don't buy into their products, and you'll see. You'll see. Meanwhile, they're telling you, no, you don't need an education, and they're taking their money and putting their kids in college and getting connections and keeping their kids on buying certain stocks and shares for that. You don't know what's going on. All you see is these guys running out here thinking that they rapping on the mic. That's not what's going on. There's no certainty in that. We don't know what's next with that. So pay attention to what's going on and try to find value in yourself this year, not the year after. If you didn't find it the year before, find it this year. This is the year for that. This is the year where you're going to have your rebelling energy up against the things that you don't want to do, but still got to push through. It don't matter what these guys say. You know, they can have a million chains on their neck and whatever. It's cool. I understand that. That's not a fight that's even worth keep fighting and telling people the wrong in it. They're going to do what they think is best for them. But at the end of the day, the type of energy that's going to attract to them will be their downfall. You watch and see. I love you guys. I really appreciated you guys this morning. I hope you enjoyed this one right here. And I got more videos I'm going to drop. Tonight, I have a video that is very important on just the amounts of food poisoning that's going on right now. So while people are out there thinking that, we're going to travel here, travel there, the food poisoning in America is crazy. I think we're up to like 1,000 and something foods that we have to look out for. So I put this video all together, and I'll be dropping that later on tonight for you guys. Just giving you guys a little outlook of what's going on with America and Europe, because Europe, their food is more healthy, it seems like. And to be honest with you, I love America. There's no other place I'd rather be, and I got even more luckier from being from New York. So that's a double for me, and I love that part of it. But I do have understanding that when it comes to your health, and I look out in these other places, and there's a difference in foods, and the sugar is different out in these places, and people are living longer, and the stress rates and everything is higher up here because of the food that people are eating and the contamination of it. It makes me wonder. It makes me wonder, and I said this in the video, and I'll ask you guys now. I know we love America. I love America. But does America love us back? That is the question that we have to ask ourselves and really think about it. And if somebody doesn't love you back, you have to find a way of getting your love and your surroundings without having to deal with them. And that's what a lot of people are doing, because 9 out of 10 times the things that you hear in the news, the reason why we don't listen to celebrities when it comes to content creating, they are very, very biased. They are biased to the people that's behind them and buying into them. Okay, that's how bankers got powerful in America, because the bankers at first the bankers weren't this as powerful. At first, it was ownership and that was going good. But when people buy into you, the more people buy into you, they're building of you, adding into making your structure what it is. When it's time for them to push an agenda, they're looking to you to follow behind that regardless, because they helped you get here. So it's like a build of people they're working together in a sense. And the people that they're hurting and the people out there that's trying to get it right, we can't seem to come together. Even if you see a little group over here talking about, it's always something like, oh, just the ladies. No, that's not how it's going to work. Just the ladies what? You think that's going to really work? In 2025, you think just because the ladies are up here making more than they used to in the past, you think just being a single lady in this wicked world is going to work? Wake up. Yeah, you might make more money, but what happens to your protection side? What happens to that? Yeah, you made the most money in the world, you single now. Now you have nobody to protect you in that lonely house. You don't have no man in there and somebody in there, and you know, but all of this sexual abuse and all this going on, where does that leave you? Biting your nails. Start realizing that love is the first thing that's going to protect you. Not how much money you make just because you made more money than your boyfriend. Start waking up. The more money that you make, you should have a better outlook. You know what? Now I don't have to look for a guy with this and so. Now I can look for the exact person I love. But what do? They run over and go pick up the guy that they feel like have money to, so they don't have to spend their money with this greedy intention. And meanwhile, the guy beating their behind the scenes. And they get up and they mad at their fans because that little relationship they're looking on social media, yeah, that's the real thing with them two little lovers. Meanwhile, your man is giving you more black eyes. You can't make another album because you got to keep putting makeup on. Tell the truth. Tell these people what's going on. Tell the people what's going on. Tell us what's going on. Why you can't do what you're doing, because behind the scenes, that's what's going on. All that type of nonsense and trickery and fighting, fussing. But you come on here with the smile. Let the people know that it's not a real relationship. That there's demons and demonic stuff going on in the back that you can't have no explanation of, and you're so scared to get therapy that you don't want nobody to know. So you're going to sit there and drown in that misery. Let the people know the truth, and then people will start telling the truth back to you. Don't put up this fake picture of what you think life is supposed to be, because that's not how it is. Not every day I'm happy. Not every day my energy's up. It's just life. Some days I want to wring some of these people's necks, but I know I can't. It's just my anxiety. Some people have it different. I'm not worried about how people are looking at me. I'm just more worried about my message and what I put out there, that it could ring in somebody's ear to change a few things. I'm not worrying about a few dollars on YouTube. Yeah, that's always nice, but that's not a goal. It's like, get yourself up and do something with yourself. If you're expecting that YouTube is your dream and this and that, when I hear people say that type of nonsense, that thing ticked me off, man. What do you mean YouTube is your dream? YouTube is supposed to be a platform to use to show people what your dream is, and you come up on here and you sit here and look around and do all this duplication nonsense, and you telling me that's your dream? Even YouTube ain't, you trust me, those owners, they don't like stuff like that. They love the content creators that come and speak from their heart. That's what YouTube was built off of. Why do you think I get my lives recommended? Because they know that I'm not coming up on here with this nonsense talk and dividing people and all of this because you heard something from your family. Well, your family was wrong. You was brought up wrong in the wrong environment and you didn't know how to take it, and what your solutions came out to be is not what it is. Why you can't say that to yourself? A lot of these people have a problem with correcting this stuff. I don't. You got to be hard on yourself before you try to go out there and be hard on somebody you don't even know. Don't common sense tell you that? You figure out what's going to happen before it's going to happen, so you can have some kind of certainty with it. What's going on? This is how it works. The people that's going to stay blind. Then it's cool, because everything that hit them is always going to be a surprise. But I want the people that really can give me give me an ear for a second, man. If you think about how this life is working, it's bad versus good people. If you really think about it, nobody's chasing you down with a hacksaw trying to take you because the color of your skin or what you did with somebody across so and so. What we are seeing is the karma of people that did things to other people, and we are seeing it in our eyes. So now when we see that, we form up a judgment of it. But that's not how it works. This is supposed to happen. What we're seeing today is supposed to happen. How we conduct ourselves on social media, it says a lot for us. How I entertain myself when I watch social media don't have to be the same way I come up here with y'all. I could be entertained by many things. You'll be surprised. But I'm not going to come up here and just throw down the people, because I do have other people watching, and I don't want them to take that and put that on me, that like that's what I'm here to serve for. That's not it. Don't you guys know, without $1 in my pocket, I always feel like I'm still have the value and I'm still somebody. You can't pull that away from me just because you got millions of dollars. I've been valued from I always knew it. It built into me. I could be broke for years, and I'll still have more value than those dumbos that think money is everything. And you gotta think like that, because if you could be bought, you can be killed with the same money they bought you with. Wake up. Stop selling your life short. Before, they used to take people for their life insurance, because it takes you see, the type of mentality, when you start thinking about that, you start speaking it in. So when the people run for the insurance and life insurance, this and that, that means they got death, and they thinking about death. They thinking about dying all the time. So they're going to go with that life insurance. That money's paid for and you're gone. Your soul is lifted because you asked for it. Start thinking about life, and you'll live long enough to tell your story and other people's that you experience. You see the trick? Don't worry about how much you're going to get paid. Your body, your soul ain't got no price tag attached to it. That's wicked human beings that do that to people, that make people think that you're worth more. We all the same. Stop worshiping celebrities too before I get out of here. Stop worshiping these celebrities. Stop it. Slow down on it. Take a look back and try to find a sense of who you're listening to. Sometimes they can talk a lot of yibbity yap on a good beat. If you like the beat, get the instrumental. The wording might mess you up. That's the most important part of the music. What are they saying? What are they standing behind? Even a bad person can make good music. A bad artist could, if you're a bad person and you make the choices to only put out good music, eventually, as your career goes on, you're going to turn into that good person that you're longing for. But if you're a good person faking to be a bad person, eventually what happens is you turn into that demon that you put out there to people. People will only see you in that way. And that's why some of these favorite artists that the youth like the K-Flocks and all these people that made noise when they first came, and they ended up in these situations, the youth don't realize that that part is gone. It'll never be. Those are gone. There's more people being made, more music coming out. Eventually, those stories didn't even get told. You think their story is told? Nah, the story ain't told unless it's finished. You understand? Don't think that the youth, they're smart enough to know they're not giving the youth no more 8 years, 10 years. They're giving the youth 25, life. The youth is getting wiped out from the jump. They're not getting the chance to jump back in society now. Because when they jump back in society, it's already packed with more people. People are getting made every day. The sex is going, baby. While people are fighting over here, there's probably 10 more people over here having sex and more babies are coming. So it's just a human experience. Don't look at this as like this a fairy tale. Life is not a fairy tale. We got to start waking up and seeing what's going on in front of our faces. If we stand here and be the social media and say social media paying us, they're going to kill us with the food. They know you got to eat, right? So you got to watch what you eat. The things that you got to do is the things that you got to be more protective of. All the sweets and the sugars and the candies, you go out there and kill yourself with it. That's something you go to get. But the stuff that you feel like you have to eat on an everyday basis, drink the water, you got to be careful of all of this stuff. The war already started. I told you guys. You thinking the war is about missiles in the air. Meanwhile, the war could be poison in the water, poison in the food, poisoning this, hacking this, taking that. That's a war too. Y'all don't know that? It's not just about bullets all the time. I know we used to seeing bullets and blood getting spilled. But that's one way of having a war. Another war is psychological, mental, spiritual. There's different types of wars. You got to tune in to know which one of those wars that you have best understanding of. And the biggest war of all is a spiritual war. That's deeper than what we could all think about. Because spiritual war, everybody have their beliefs. That's why I always tell you, you see those guys that jump out the airplanes and think that they're going to have 100 or whatever virgins promised to them after they blow up these places and have bombs attached to them. That's their beliefs. Now, I can't tell them if they're right or wrong or if those 100 virgins are going to be waiting for them, but I could say that maybe they were misguided. But their strength and belief in whoever that misguided them is what led them to that. So you have to have that much value in yourself to know the things that you believe in is going to be the things that's going to guide you. And that's how it works. If you don't have no religion or nothing behind you, you are lost. You are lost. You only believe. That's why you see these people. I see people tear up and burst down and crying over these celebrities. They ain't never cried like that for their family. Them people lost, man. They ain't got no souls. Nah, they ain't got no souls. They've been tricked throughout social media and TV to watch these people. Meanwhile, you ask those people for $1 out of their own pocket, not money that was given to them, and they ain't giving you a cent. You got to be prepared and know and welcoming of that. And be very aware of it. There's a lot of people out there like that because they're down to their last and they feel like they got to get the most just to be somebody. You are somebody. You value yourself and you'll never have a perspective like these fools that look down and belittle their own people. The reason why they feel bad now because they know they're in trouble. The clock is ticking on these bad people with this bad energy. Y'all watch what I tell you. 2025 will be the year we're going to see everything in our face. And I'm waiting to see what Donald Trump has to say about Martin Luther King. He said he has some information about him and Kennedy. And yeah, I'm tuning into that. So what if you don't want to tune in? You tune into all that nonsense on social media. You need to wake up because everything that's being documented right now will be a part of history. It's important. It's more important than that Aaliyah Barbie doll. Stay tuned. Love you guys, and I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. And if you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Peace. I get up.